Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight.
let's get the topic straight, let's get things good, let's do everything that we should.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
All right, all right, all right. What is going on in the world? Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. What's going on, guys? This is your boy Tig here once again with another episode of Project Open Mic. This is episode 8, part 3 of We Fail Our Kids. I wanted to touch on too much topic in that regard, and I might be touching on more topics in the future, of course. But for this, I just wanted to have more of what we're talking, the conversation that we need to be having right now. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining in to another episode of Project Open Mic. Shout outs to Facebook, shout out to YouTube, shout out to Tempo FM. Quoting Tempo FM, you guys, been giving me good views on that end. Again, anybody out there who want to catch any videos that's been done before from the past, you go back and check episode 7, and you can check episode 6, where you talk about part 1 and 2, and you catch it on YouTube, Project Mic, on youtube.com/Project Open Mic. So with that said, let me just put up here once again. Hello, how y'all doing? Put my face up there for y'all to see. Hope y'all doing good tonight. Technically speaking, we kind of had a storm that just came through, and went up all the way through basically south, north Virginia, up to the New York and everything else like that. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's doing good. RIP for those who have lost their lives in the storm, because again, it spun out tornadoes, and if you're in a flood-centric area, it's a bad situation, and I feel sad for those who's going through that, including in the time that we are in right now, where certain things are just, it is what it is. So, with that said, though, hey, again, other than that, hope everybody is doing well. So, this is part 3. We've been, how should I say this? We've been doing some very cool little thing to let people understand how things are going around now that we have really failed our kids. As I said, as usual, we talked about how we don't teach them the basics, manners, critical thinking, simple sense, history, and standing on their own. And that's just a reality of it. Now there are people out there who are, of course, done the best they can with certain circumstances, and I get it. But you know what? It's sad how we try our best to get everybody in the same plane. You try to give your best to your children. I understand that, but if you're looking at the situation we are in now and seeing certain things, I can't look at it as a success story. We don't teach our kids. In the first part, you go for Mike. I mean, sorry. In the first part, I showed that kids don't, how taxes are work. We don't teach them economics. I mean, schools need. Everybody talking about defund the police and stuff, and what's going on in America. We need to defund the school teachers, not the schools, not school teachers. My mistake. The schools, and reset them up in a certain way, because the we're paying a lot of money for these schools, and I think the reason I'm saying that, because I think if you're gonna graduate from high school, Econ 101 should be a requirement, because not everybody who graduated from high school is going to college. Some people are going to go get a trade, be a mechanic, be a carpenter, be, you know, hairdresser, stylist, something. But you need to teach them economy, Econ 101. Understand how taxes work, how loans work, how interest work, how these are things I think should be in the class to graduate from high school. Period. This is stuff that we need to talk about, but we don't talk about that stuff with these kids. So again, now another thing we don't teach our kids is like I said. So in our first episode, part one, I did talk about that and manners, because we teach the kids manners and everything. And the second one, I talk about how kind of a little bit to use critical thinking, but also that just how the government works a little bit, not a lot. I might need to do a show like that. It might be a little boring, but I mean, I'll try to make it as exciting as I can. But it needs to be done. But what can I say is, so we got some stuff to talk about, like I said tonight. So let me see. Let me get myself situated and get the stuff going on, because the world has gone. That's it. I'll Let me point this out. The world has always been crazy. The problem is we have now devices, which you guys are listening to right now, or what I'm broadcasting to. We're listening to devices now that has broadcast the information around the world faster than anything. Fake or truthful is being broadcast quicker. And when you see stuff like this, it is quite and it's quite it's quite something. That's the best way to say it. It's quite something. And like I said, it broadcasts things around very, very, very quickly. Um, Also, I'll give out to the people like what happened in Beirut. That is crazy. That is insane. And they say that's one of the most. I want to play this a little bit too again for people who lost their lives again. That's crazy. A lot of people lost their lives in what happened in Beirut. That's something that happened today, and the explosion. And just give you how kids. I'm just gonna give you. Oh, sorry. I want to say this show, tonight's show, okay, there's going to be a little bit more cursing than usual. I don't curse myself in these shows, but this is going to have a little, because I just, like I said, I don't want to go through all the editing of that stuff. If it really, I don't. So we're going to have stuff that I apologize. If you have young kids, I'm just letting you know up front. It's not going to be cursing laced, but you're gonna have couple stuff because because I want to show these videos and I don't want to, hold it back like that. Again, if you are watching on YouTube, or if you go watch YouTube, I don't monetize the channel. This is basically for information to help people learn about situation and give not only my my opinions and to look at certain things and share the news that the best as I can to talk about the narrative of what's going on, but also again, Patrick Open Mic is open to anybody for discussion. That's why I have the side chat, which hopefully it didn't happen last week. Apologize for that because last week we had a power outage, so I can't broadcast if I can't. I don't have power, but I would want to say it is always open to people because I don't want to just be. So if you again, you can check us out not only on YouTube, but if you want to check out and have a conversation with us with the side check, whatever, and you're part of the Hangout or Zoom. I'm trying to figure that out to incorporate it into the show. Um, no problem. It is, of course, you want to check direct message. You can go to Project Open Mic T3 at gmail.com or Twitter, Project Open Mic, Instagram, Project Open Mic, if you want to check the stuff out. So, but just to give you this, my thing is right now, America never had outside. We're affluent, and after looking at a lot of stuff in the past, being that I'm a fan of history and looking at it, I was like, wow. And mostly a lot of societies that when it's starting to crumble or when there's a weakness, a chink in the armor, is when societies become affluent and there's no outside dangers. So most of these kids that's growing up right now that I'm talking about that we talked before, they grew up in a safe, mostly in a safe place. Okay, not all black kids because of the whole ghettos and everything, but I mean, relatively, they were not worried about outside interference from doing horrible things, bombs, stuff like other places or dangers. So, with that said, let me see if I could bring this up for you guys. Like I said, but my point of saying all this is that it is so quick that your life can change. Try your best to be as prepared as you can because your life could change in an instant, and it's very, very. You gotta. As one of my sayings that my grandma said, and as a part of my T3 creed, is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. What's going on with 2020? Yeah, you just gotta. It's not an easy thing at all. So with that, just want to, like I said, talk about show you how quick and easy life can be. Not it can be taken away, one, and two, how it could change that you don't even know what's going on. So let me see if I go bring that up right here. All right, lovely lady in Beirut having basically just got married and just taking her her pictures. I'll let the audio go. Just got married and there you go. I apologize for the noise, the loud noise. I didn't know how loud it was, but I can't say because it was a whatever that happened that blew it up. That's what blew it up. That is sad. I hope everybody's like for that place right there. I hope everything's all right. But that's how quickly life can change. Just as quick as that. And I feel for the people who have lost their family in that too again. And that's my point right there. That happened right there. We got all this video. That's the difference between what's going on today. A lot of people say the world's going to hell in a handbasket or whatever. The thing is that we have more mediums that could transmit news and data and everything way faster than it was. The world was always horrible in a way. I mean, it just was. But now you're just getting it more quicker and more, and you know, instant now. That's what you're getting it. That's what you're getting right now. We used to have, I said, the news when I was growing up. Even coming to like America and everything, the news was in the 30 minutes, 40 hour in the morning, or 30 minutes or hour in the afternoon. Nightly news, morning news. That's about it. Breaking news happened. I get it, but after that, that's what it was. Now we have 24/7 news. 24/7 news. You have that is feeding your news 24/7. They're doing it for a profit now. There was not never they weren't, before they weren't doing it for a profit, so they're doing it for profit now. So they're gonna hammer and feed you whatever you feed you just to keep you interested into the news. And most people, and the sad thing about it is, an old saying was, if it bleeds, it leads. That's one, and two. News basically go towards conflict more than they go towards resolution. You hear more about the bad stuff before you hear about any of the good stuff. Just how it works now, and it's sad. So that's something that's new right now, and I don't think we cope with it very well. So that's why when I see a lot of these 24-hour news fill up with all kind of nonsense and all the evil stuff they fill up with, it's because they need, if it, like I said, if it leads, if it bleeds, it leads. That's how they do things now. There's stories where like there's Amber Alert, find this person, whatever, found out that this person got found, but people are still worried about things because that part of the news doesn't get transferred. The first part to get the news out urgency, yes, but to rescind, to retract, to fix anything, that doesn't go as far as wide as it needs to go. So that's one of the problems with going on in news right now. So that's just an example. Now, let me see. Yeah, let's go. I'm looking at how to do tonight's show in keep it in a certain way. I have pictures on the I have a picture of this on my Facebook, and I'll state this once again. I don't just I don't like that just because I am well. Let's talk about what really one of the top news right now that just happened, and I talked about this. I'll go into detail in a different video. It's sad, but I just as a person just reminded me to bring that up, so I'll bring it up for a quick second. Uh, and it's weird to me. It is weird. So the footage of what happened of George Floyd's arrest has been leaked. Now, something is weird there, and I'll address that in a little second. But the footage does not is not good. If you go and watch the footage. I'm not gonna play it here in this one because it takes more than the show. But why don't you look for your eyes? But okay, it's a long video. But yeah, it's not good. It really is not. Again, but to reiterate, what Chauvin did still is not a good thing. All right. Let me make sure clear. What Chauvin did still is not a good thing. What he did and the smirk and everything, that is not a good thing. Okay, and we need to make sure that officers are not that jaded to do that kind of stuff. Okay, it's not. But seeing what happened to him and seeing that he was basically on fentanyl and he was messed up. He just messed up. The drugs was in his system. Fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine. Thing is dangerous for and it's coming to China again with the China stuff for people. Yeah, That stuff is coming true and it's very dangerous. But now with that video, I can tell you right now, the other three cops that were standing on the side, that side and side, they're not gonna get. They're gonna get acquitted. They're gonna get acquitted. When they did everything they can, and and he was saying, "I can't breathe," even before they were on the neck and everything, and all that stuff. Yeah, so the video is not looking good. Sad. But and then Chauvin, like I said, I wish that they kept it to where it was, but they bump it up. Same thing with Zimmerman. Like I said, do not carry these murder charges higher. These DAs, there's a lot of corrupt DAs being exposed right now, from Louisiana to LA to Atlanta to New York. What that New York DA just did, again, I don't get it. Why y'all doing this nonsense? And now she's trying to stop people from getting. New York, they're trying to stop people from getting illegally getting guns. Holy crap! You got an uptick in shooting, lady. Okay, the criminals don't follow the rules. They're lawbreakers by automatic. The name, they're lawbreakers. So no matter what you're doing, so trying to stop regular people who are law-abiding citizens to get their weapons legally and know how to use them, you're gonna force a black market, just what's like happened in Chicago, just like it's what's going on in LA. See the chinos and all those guys in LA get their guns legally? No, they don't. They don't. This is not a good thing. But politicians, I swear, I don't know why people. I don't look up to politicians. They're the last people I will look up to. You do good, you do good as a person. I give you that. But as a politician, man, wow. But the point taken that they took the murder up now, it's gonna be a little harder to convict. I don't want Chauvin to get out because I think he's a bad person. I really do. I think something that is not right with a person that did that. Of course, that had him and they have him on other charges in Florida and everything too. So they might convict him on that. But if they convict him, it's gonna be a political expediency and not really the right thing to do. I want you to convict a person for the right thing, but they did what they can for George Floyd. They did, and that's the part. That's why I say I have a problem with that. Let me get this. When Rashad Brooks got shot, the body cameras came out that the one in Detroit when it came out like that. There's a lot of body coming quick. Why only now? After this, after May, June, July. So no, but it was June, July. After 2 months, now the body camera, and it was leaked out. It wasn't even pressed out. So what's going on here? That is not right. Something ain't right about that. I don't like it. I do not like it. That's a weird thing that happened. It should have been out quickly as fast as it can, but no. So something is not right about this. But again, so if you're in mostly some liberal cities, some leftist cities as I call them, prepare for another round of young white punks. A couple black ones gonna be in there, but most is young black white punks destroying your business, tearing down your things. Because when they can't convict the guy on murder two, the cop is going to get crazy again. That's why I moved out of the city and into the countryside. Mm-mm. I don't trust. Can't live in the city no more. It's too bad. It's too much. It's too much. Now, another thing that I have to, like I said, I'm bringing up is, like I said, because these politics, the DAs being as corrupt as they are, Yeah, it's really getting bad. I don't and trust me. My state of North Carolina had its share of corrupt DA, the DA who tried to convict the Duke Lacrosse boys for on lies. Yeah, that's what I said. There's corruption, man. It is media expediency. I don't like it. I don't like it. Follow the rules. This is the law. Obey the law. That's all. Why is that so hard? You got, and I always love all of them. Like nobody's above the law. Apparently, you are Mrs. DA and Mr. and Mrs. DAs, or you lie to get people in jail in the messed up way. That's messed up. Seriously messed up. Oh man. Ah, but like I said, we'll see. Explain into that. And then you have Black Lives Matter. Of course, it's kind of falling apart a little bit. Well, it fell apart a lot. It's been overtaken. Like I always say, it's gonna be. What's gonna get overtaken? Every time, I have said it before. Every time black people try to do something as a group, or anybody good that try to do as a group, as a group, you don't. Sorry about that. You as a group, it always gets hijacked. I've said this before. I'll say it again. It always get hijacked. Just when you guys think everything is, oh, there you go, hijacked. It gets hijacked. And a while, if you've been watching me for a while, I did something a while ago about that. The way that these guys are going, y'all gonna go down a path that's not gonna work out for y'all. Okay, it's just not. And y'all gonna become the same thing that you don't want to be. There's this old saying: you don't want to become the evil that you don't want to do that. Become the evil that you are. But the sad thing about it is, you are now getting more people upset with you guys. Again, I'll say it again. And I saw it coming that what Antifa and Black, like you can say, you let these guys take over your movement, and when you did that, you're going to have to worry about, you know, you're gonna have a problem because you are starting to do stuff that's gonna get everybody angry. Okay, there's videos of these politicians again saying Black Lives Matter, whatever. Oh, wait until they came to their house and paint and vandalize their house. That's why I say it's weird that you guys let this happen, and then of course, this goes on in that regard. But then y'all start to lash out at other um, communities,
down the store.
and that's not gonna go well for you. It really ain't. So I just want to play it. I'm going to use multiple clips again in saying what I got to say. So the thing that killed me is this. Don't. Let me just let the clip go. And so because what happened in Louisville, the Black Lives Matter regular group, whatever, went to a Cuban restaurant and did mafia style. And now you're gonna now the Cuban community now is it's fighting back. You guys are creating more, and they're creating more enemies. Now, half of them, I think they create enemies because they want all out fighting. That's an anarchist. That's what the Antifas, the BMA, the NFC, all these groups want. They want to fight. They want just tearing the streets and want nonsense. And some of this is like, look at what's going on. They're taking you guys plight and use it for their gains. I already did a video about how Wade County did it and asked for withhold reparations and all that stuff, and they take y'all plight and turn it into making more money for them. And I'm dead serious about that. That's crazy, and I don't like it. Again, my taxes for paying on a property that I own went from $1,200 to $2,400 in 1 year. Not a fan of that. Not a fan that I gotta pay that nonsense. It's annoying. But I'm gonna use Tim to show what I'm basically use Tim here to show what I'm talking about. I'll just use not that one. I'll just freeze down. Use that.
Contract that literally demands you buy from us. A group of Black Lives Matter, I don't know what you want to call them, mobsters, have been showing up to local businesses in Louisville, giving them this ridiculous contract that literally demands you buy from us. It literally says you have to buy from certain businesses or donate 1.5% of your net sales to an approved nonprofit. And if you don't, you will face repercussions of non-compliance. That's what they call it. When they showed up to a Cuban immigrant's business and told him, put the sign in your window, put up a message of support if you know what's good for you. They literally said, put the sign in the window, otherwise we're going to F with you. When the dude said no, somebody smashed a potted plant, one of his plants in front of his restaurants. Doesn't that sound a little bit like mafia tactics? Well, that's literally how he described it. The update now is that the Cuban community in Louisville rallied outside the building saying no. And it turns out this dude who runs this business came to the U.S. on a raft at 18 from Cuba. And the best part is they held up signs saying, we left Cuba because of socialism. Be careful what you wish for. I'm sorry. It is no longer Antifa tactics. It is no longer Antifa violence. In Portland, they're flying the flag Black Lives Matter. In Louisville, as they go around threatening businesses, give us your money, you buy from us, or smash. That's all in the name of Black Lives Matter. When people talk about Antifa violence, this was a couple of years ago when people were flying the flag of Antifa. Now they claim Antifa doesn't exist. I'll tell you what does exist, the global Black Lives Matter movement. They accept donations, and there are people literally going around saying they are with the organization, and I have the contract. So I want to read you the story, how the Cubans are responding, saying, F you to socialism. I want to show you this right here. I'm going to read through the contract. They're forcing people to sign, giving up money or facing a repercussions of non-compliance. And then I'll talk to you about some big updates because there will be a congressional hearing on Antifa violence. Now, here's the thing. That's why I say, I'm sorry, man. It's not Antifa anymore. No, they found a rallying cry better, more powerful and more mainstream, and that's Black Lives Matter.
And that's what I was saying. They took over. These are the people who took over y'all movement. All Black Lives Matter. It's very important. But be careful who you use. As they were saying, oh, you sleepy dogs, you will get up with ticks, You fight a pig, all the pig has to do is get you down in the mud. Just stuff like that is what's going on. And that's why I'm explaining this to these young kids that your movement, this has not been this has not happened now. This has been happening for years. Years and years this has been happening. I'm gonna prove my stuff in more the clips having. But I just want to point again. Now you turn a group of people and it's gonna keep on going more and more. At the beginning, when when George Floyd you saw the despicable video and everything was going the way it's supposed to be, you thought everybody was like, wow, that's messed up. That's what happened. That's everybody. Every poll that went up, Gallup, Pew, everybody, 98% of people were saying, "Wow, that was messed up." But slowly but surely, because of the riots, because of the people who say peaceful protesting, and then turn you mean peaceful protesting, and again, not against people who protest peacefully, right or wrong with you, but then they're knuckleheads that's inside of the group that starts it, and then it turns into mass chaos after that. So I can't go with that. I can't go with that. I remember I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He was like, if you if you go with another group to be bigger, like, look, I have a goal. I have a goal. I've said it. That was saying to him. I have a goal, and my goal is my goal. If somebody else want to join into my goal and make it better, no, I have no problem with that. If your goals are to align with mine, and it's gonna be you're gonna do this thing the right way, I am down with you. But if you start to go someplace that is gonna be bad, or you taking my situation to a different spot, then I don't want to be a part of that. So I would dissociate myself from you. I'm gonna call you bad or whatever. Cause maybe you have your own intentions in the first place that was ever. But if I going for nonviolence and protesting or doing something that for my cause, I don't want somebody else to come and destroy it and then hijack it and it turns into something else. That's happened on the left. That's on the right. That's a Republican, Democrat. It's happened, and mostly when it comes to Black Americans, every time a cause come up for them that's going to be good, they always get hijacked. And that's why I always say that. It always get hijacked. We support, like I said in my last video, should we get reparations? Reparations, yes, the time for reparations is gone. Because we are all mixed up, mixed now, and all the stuff. Yes, I'm black, but they don't know that they're white in my blood or nothing or whatever the DNA test. That and I would never give my DNA to anybody anyway. But my point is, we should have gotten that. But at the time, the South, the Dems, blocked it, and then they created Jim Crow laws. They blocked it from our ancestors, get our ancestors. If my ancestors was in America as a slave or not, because I'm in the Caribbean, but the ancestors from getting their reparations. The Jews got the reparations when they had things. So did the Irish and they all the best as they can. The Italian, the funny enough, the what you call it, the Chinese and the Japanese. They all got their reparations. It's funny enough, the Chinese and the Japanese was basically on either again a Democrat, but it's not. I'm sorry, just telling the facts here, man. Just it's weird. That's why I said you need if you need to learn our history, which I'll show you a good reason of why we should learn about our history. But getting back to what just let Tim finish up, and you can check him at Tim Pool or Tim IRL. He's a journalist he's one of those journalists who gets back in the day used to get down on the ground and record and get the true stuff down on the ground. That's why in my last video when I had the local news, I give more props to local news than the major news, than the 24-hour news network, because they don't do that. They barely get that, and they gotta do their narrative thing. No, I've said it before. I say it again. I don't have. I might not like certain people, but I ain't gotta lie to them just to prove them wrong, because I won't. If you're wrong, I'm gonna prove that you were wrong. I'm not gonna lie on you to do it. So, let me go back and let Tim continue with his with what he's saying about, like, again. Now you're starting to get little groups piece by piece turning against that. That's not what we needed.
And that's
Not what we needed.
unfortunate because I look to some, certain individuals, high-profile individuals who talk about police brutality, and I respect what they have to say. Dave Chappelle, for instance, you talk about police brutality, and I'm like, right on. Let's solve this problem, right? I don't think the problem is nearly widespread as they try to convince you. As I don't think it's as bad as they say it is, but it's bad nonetheless. So I'm willing to say, okay, man, yeah. Let's figure out police reform, whatever we need to do. The only issue, the far left, Marxists, extremists, former Antifa, have found a mainstream path towards pushing forward their ridiculous ideas. They want these businesses in Louisville to all write messages or statements of support and put it in their business and put the contracts in their windows, or else. Well, this Cuban immigrant has said no. This story is crazy. We are not an enemy. of the black community, Cubans rally to support Nulu businesses. They say more than 100 members of Louisville's Cuban community gathered at La Bodeguita de Mima at, there's the address, Sunday to rally in support of the immigrant-owned restaurant. The rally came after a controversial letter from Black Lives Matter protesters laid out demands that aim to improve diversity in Nulu, which is known for its locally owned shops and restaurants. You see, this I can't stand. It aims to improve diversity. That would be like when the mob showed up and smashed your window. It's just a group of young men aiming to provide better security for the area, aiming to protect local businesses. Shut up. They're not trying to improve diversity. They're shaking businesses down and demanding money. Call it what it is.
Sure.
Fernando Martinez, a partner of the Ole restaurant group, publicly denounced the letter's demands on Facebook, calling them mafia tactics used to intimidate business owners. Bravo, good sir. I'll give you a figurative standing ovation. On Thursday, a small group of protesters gathered outside his restaurant, La Bodeguita de Mima, in protest. For about 10 minutes on Sunday, Martinez gave a passionate speech to the crowd, with his mother and relatives standing alongside him. La Bodeguita is open to everybody, Martinez said. If you're gay, this is your home. If you're black, this is your home. If you're white, this is your home. If you're human, this is your home. Hey, whoa. What about cats or dogs? Come on. You got to be more inclusive to other species. I think I'm joking. There are people who call it speciesism. I'm not
There are
kidding.
people that are crazy.
He also condemned
Right.
the criticism
right.
his business had received over diversity concerns. He says that he's got black family members. His family is black. His son is gay. He's the proud father of a gay son, and he's going to fight for him against anybody. But we all know how statements like that play out when it's not. Look, man, I can respect his defiance, but I don't think this is going to stop Antifa, Black Lives Matter, from going up and smashing more of his property. They may back down because how bad this looks. But, I facing that goes well beyond this one incident. A problem that I am.
Let's skip to the part where we can read the contract.
My friends protesting for Black Lives Matter, beaten while people yell Black Lives Matter. I am not exaggerating. So what do you think happens when these videos come out of Karens, and some of them aren't even necessarily Karens, but they still get their lives destroyed?
Oh yeah, just to point out too, there's a video that was up in whatever, and with the lady, the pregnant lady who pulled a gun on a black. There was more video. Shocking. Find out the white lady was apology to the black woman, but she just wasn't having it. Even if you give, like he just said, even if you give them what they want you to just bow down to them. Can't say, okay, I was sorry, I apologize. Nope. Dang. Oh man, this is crazy.
What do you think people are going to say when they lose their jobs for speaking out, or when they're physically assaulted? They're going to say, I'm too scared to do anything about it. Because all over the TV, they're saying, do it or else. Everybody supports it. You don't want to be opposed to what everybody supports, do you? So what happens? When they give out this psychotic contract, all of these businesses, guess what? They said yes. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Now listen, I can sympathize. You got a mafia shakedown. You got a religious cult showing up, threatening to smash up your property and destroy your life unless you bend the knee. You don't want to be called a racist, do you? They're trying to call the Cuban immigrant a racist. They're literally calling him racist.
Which is crazy. But again, a guy who came, like Tim said, a guy who came over on a raft, became a U.S. citizen, brought his family, and do. See, I am not against that. You came in illegally. Okay, I get that. I have a disdain to certain legal things because what happened to my friend or what happened to my family per se. But if you fight and become a citizen and you do everything on the up and up, more power to you. I give you more power. But these people don't care for that
Gentrification
situation.
is a sugarcoating, single-handedly progressing the gentrification of black neighborhoods with your businesses. They mention that gentrification is a sugarcoating an oppressive system that targeted black folks for 400 years.
I already debunked that nonsense already. Check out the last part 2 because of another Tim Kaine, a Democrat in Virginia, with his nonsense. And I debunked that, not what he said. Again, funny. 400 years ago, yeah, 400 years, and back what happened. But anybody going against the Arabs who stopped slavery just recently as a major part? It's still happening to this day. There's more slavery on this planet now than it was back 400 years ago. But I
We
digress.
are here today to demand representation over tokenism. You know what, man? No. You can't go to a Cuban immigrant, okay, and claim gentrification is hurting you. How did this guy come from literally nothing? And I mean it, literally nothing. You can't point the finger at him and act like he's doing anything to oppress anybody. He's just succeeding. This is socialism. It's cutting off the tall grass. They use the social justice narrative to garner sympathy from well-to-do liberals. Take a look at this. Here are the demands. I showed these the other day. They said for business owners and nonprofits, our demands are as follows. Businesses will adequately represent the black population of Louisville by having a minimum of 23% black staff, including management, in front of house positions, and maintain commitment and accountability to increase that number. Retail locations will include a minimum 23% inventory for black retailers or make a recurring monthly donation of 1.5% net sales to business I guess there's to nonprofits. I guess I don't know why it's cut off. There's a weird cutoff here. But according to the official story, I actually have the list here on the other page. They say to a local black nonprofit or organization. Well, let's go back to the contract. I don't know why it's broken up like that. Business owners will require diversity, equity, and inclusion training for their staffs to be conducted by any one of the blanks. Oh, they redacted it. On the attached list. Interesting. Training will be conducted thereafter on a biannual basis. Customize your own display of the one attached in a visible location within your business to increase awareness and show support for the reparations movement. Nonprofits in the Nulu district will submit to a voluntary external audit of their board of trustees and take necessary steps to look at this. Look at this. We demand you submit to a voluntary audit. We demand you submit.
You ain't the IRS, dudes. You're not the IRS.
External audit. I love the language games they play. Here's the best part. They're going to say, I, as a business owner in the gentrified Nulu business district, understand that gentrification targets poor and disadvantaged communities of color, and as such, I acknowledge. I'm not going to read it.
You know what? I'm happy he's saying I'm going to read it because I want to talk about something too. Now, doing what I've done, at first I was ignorant in my own right. I also thought of gentrification was a bad thing, and I get it. But I was into my cause. Then I look into it, and literally, I sad to say, I'm kind of a part of it in what I've done in jobs and stuff. I have gone to these neighborhoods that are gentrification. I've seen what it happened before and after. I have seen it literally. I have taken a video. I can't show it. I have to get it out my phone and show you. I took a while ago back. These neighborhoods, yes, they have poor people in it. It's sad. I agree. It's sad. But man, it's bad because they were taking like if I go in the backyards of these houses, there's diapers, old rickety bikes, old TVs smashed with the mercury leaking out into the ground and everything. Dog crap. I'm like, maybe it's me, but I don't know. Maybe if you keep your house clean, your area clean, they won't gentrify you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just the picture, like I said, it's just disgusting in the back and something in the side or sometimes in the front. And you want to know why you guys are that? Y'all don't even take care of that. It's a sad sight. But and most of those people are again people, and it's white and blacks, don't even and Mexican and I guess not Mexican, Hispanics, let's just be with that. I've seen it on all colors. The poor that they do that, and it's weird that they do that. Because I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, this is just nasty, man. Nasty. You see condoms and stuff on them. Oh my god! It's just like, what is? Why you guys don't keep this stuff clean? As poor as I was and my family was, which is way poorer than then, because we didn't have government handouts. We didn't do that with our um property. Our property is not that nasty. Our property was clean. And hell, back in those days, we didn't even have and for my people from the islands could tell you that we didn't even have um brooms sometimes in the outside free. We didn't we, you know we used to take coconut branches, the little branches that come off of the snap would just snap and you have the little thing. We took that and we used to sweep the yard with just to keep it clean. It's just it's sad. But my point is, for doing that made the people angry, and then you gain people to hate BLM. Like I said, the organization, Black Lives Matter .com, not a fan of them. No, nope, not a fan of them. And their money does not go towards helping black people. It's funny, it helps more white people than black people. Again, I don't get that, but that's just what it is. It's just crazy. But people fall for that nonsense. That's not. I don't do that. I don't want telling people to do that myself. But it is just super sad. And since I have Tim up, I want to ask another question. Again, we're seeing a lot of people are moving out. There's another thing that's happening. So a lot of people, everybody's like, "Oh wow, you know, President Trump lost to Hillary Clinton in the popular vote by 3 million. Actually, it was two by 1 million because again, how California's laws were crooked as they are, but they want to get popular votes for those two cities, those two states to take power. Those are two popular states, California and New York. And if we get rid of again, when I first came to America, again, enforce my ignorance. I did not know about it, but when I figure out, whoa, what the electric college does, is like, no, 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 no. We don't need to get rid of that. That was before all this. This is back. I learned that back in 2004. I was like, whoa, we don't need to get rid of that. Now it makes total sense why we have the electoral college. Founding fathers, smart on you to have that in there, because man, this is ridiculous. Because you guys know about human nature. And that's why I always talk about, I argue from human nature because humans do certain things. They're not going to change. They're just not. As a people. Now, a person could go outside of human nature, good, and someone could go out of human nature and be bad. Both. But I'm going to, like I said, those two states are corrupt. Not like not any other state anyway. They are corrupt. But let me just put it this way. You want those two states. Let me see. High taxes. I don't want no more than what I need to pay right now, which is bad anyway. I'm in North Carolina. High taxes, crazy pollution, high crimes. It's just and it's gonna get higher now that the D up in out in New York just trying to stop people from getting their guns. The citizens getting their guns. Good job. How did that work out? Okay, stop. Jeez. How did that work out in Chicago? Oh wait, it didn't. It did not. It did not work out in Chicago. As the mass killing is going crazy over there in Chicago right now. So that's gonna be something that didn't work out there. Sure, they don't work in LA either, but New York's falling right behind these other people. All these, and all these, what's coming? All these states and cities are run predominantly by Democrats again. They're doing this nonsense. Seattle, Portland, what's going on in Seattle and Portland with all the rioting and stuff? Hell, they literally attacked the old lady in her own house in Seattle. Jeez, this is getting out of hand. But you know what? You wanted to take away the police. Police is gone. Now the crazies are out doing what they got to do. That's the thing about it. But again, crime, pollution, the homelessness, education system, like I said, because in California, where those kids don't even know nothing. In Maxine Waters district, they can't get past. Some of these kids can't read past grade level. Yeah, and of course, parents don't, be in the schools live. The schools are crappy. Again, I'm gonna do a project over by all about the schools. Holy smokes, you guys will be. When I show you these videos, you'll be like, "What the hell?" On a serious note, but so let me help you. What's going on? Let me like I said. This is why I say I'm cursing and stuff because I'm gonna use a clip. I'm cursing it. And then a warning up front that this has some bad languages. I don't. It's not gonna be the whole thing, but if I have two videos that I want to show that have bad languages and it sucks. But here you go. From from those same two states, from California, New York. What's going on in California, New York? So let's go from, since we just had Tim on there. Let's talk about New York. Let's do New York City. Let's do New York City. Oops. Let me do
Bill de
that.
Blasio and Andrew Cuomo have completely destroyed New York City, and now Andrew Cuomo's worst fear is being realized. Not the first time I've said that, but a while ago he said, God help us, or God forbid, if the wealthy leave the city. Well, now the city is facing a $30 billion budget shortfall because all of the rich people left, and Cuomo is begging them to come back. I'll buy you a drink, he says. And progressives are demanding they raise the taxes on the wealthy. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the downward death spiral of New York. In desperation, because they're losing money, they raise the taxes on the wealthy, who then flee because the taxes are too high, costing them more money, and then the city collapses. They don't understand how taxes work. And this is the problem with the far left. But it all started with COVID. First, they told people, come on down and celebrate. Then, oops. Then Bill de Blasio's like, we got to lock down. And Cuomo was like, don't be ridiculous, Bill. We're not locking down. Then they started putting sick people into nursing homes. People started dying. And then everyone got really mad about that. People started leaving because of the coronavirus. They started going to the Hamptons, started going to Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And then the riots happened. And what did the mayor say in New York City? Well, of course, you can protest. You can't do anything else, though. So who in their right mind, especially a person of means, would want to live in the nightmare world of Escape from New York? Certainly not I, and certainly not 420,000 other people who have fled. And now the city's got no money, and they're going to have to terminate tens of thousands of government jobs. This is the death spiral of New York, and I don't see them pulling out of this tailspin. Maybe if they just give up and say, Trump, tell us what to do. Maybe that will be a solution. And I'm not saying it because I think Trump has all the answers. I'm saying because they've failed and they need to just hand the reins over to somebody else at the federal level, perhaps maybe Trump. But right now, it is worse than just people losing money. It is worse than just the tax base eroding. Let me tell you, as I've stated, it's the death spiral. They're going to try, the rich people fled. They're losing money, so they raise taxes, causing more people to flee. And here's the best part. It's not just about that. It's also about how they got rid of 600 anti-crime police officers. What were they thinking? They have destroyed New York, and now they will reap what they have sown. New York's wealthy Upper East Side reports a shocking 286% increase in robberies, with armed gunmen holding up residents just feet from the homes of billionaires. Bravo. Bravo, Cuomo and de Blasio. So sad. And there's a lot more going on, you know, but I want to focus first on Cuomo's worst nightmare. You know, his approval rating is up, and I love it. I wonder how long his approval rating will last now that there's a $30 billion budget shortfall. The train's going to fall apart. They're going to fire, I think they're saying they're going to fire, what, like 22,000 city workers. Man, you know what? I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at the absurdity of it, and I'm laughing at the failures of these Democratic politicians. But I will tell you this. I am genuinely worried about the people of New York. So let me just say, if you live there and you have not gotten out, you need to get out now. It's going to get worse as they try and raise taxes. Now, Andrew Cuomo's like, no, I'm not going to raise taxes on the rich people because then they're going to leave, and many of them already have. Yeah. Well, I assure you it will get worse. Why? At least in my opinion. I don't want to assure anything. I'll say this. In my opinion, I think it's going to escalate because you're already seeing crime skyrocket and nothing's being done about it. What we're seeing right now when they take off these, they get rid of these anti-crime cops, crime spikes, what do you think is going to happen when the criminals realize? Right now, it's just the regular old criminals going about their thing and not being stopped. What do you think happens when other people go, hey, wait a minute, these guys are committing robberies and not getting caught? Man, I got to get in on that. Right now, the crime spike we're seeing, in fact, in my opinion, is not a dramatic increase in crime. Put it this way. If you have 100 guys that are walking around trying to rob somebody and you have police who stop them, you'll only end up with like 20 robberies because 80 got stopped. You get rid of all the police and those 100 people are now unopposed as they go around robbing people, and it will look like crime is skyrocketing. What happens then? When the normal number, when all these other people say, you're not getting caught, I'll join in. Now you go from 100 to 200. See how that works? Let's read the story as Cuomo begs wealthy New Yorkers to come back to save the city and pleads, I'll buy you a drink. They say thousands of New York City residents fled Manhattan, hundreds of thousands, mind you, and Brooklyn earlier this year when the city was the COVID epicenter. Many flocked to their second homes in the Hamptons or upstate, while others rented or bought new properties, abandoning their expensive city apartments. Now, 6 months on, with no end to the national nightmare in sight, many are laying down permanent roots. While New York has overcome its battle against the virus, the rest of the country, where the lockdown rules have been far more relaxed, is seeing a resurgence. It is preventing New York City from resuming its normal activity because Cuomo fears a second spike in cases will happen if just one person from a worse affected state travels. Yeah. So what are they doing? They're putting COVID checkpoints at major bridges and tunnels. Who would want to live that way? I'll tell you what, man. If you're a wealthy American and you can snap your fingers, hop in a taxi, a bus, a train, a plane, or whatever, go to a second home out in the rural countryside, why wouldn't you? How many people do you think are sitting there going like, I don't want to be stopped at a checkpoint. I'm just going to take the helicopter and fly out to the middle of nowhere where I can enjoy my, peace and quiet. Apparently, about 500,000 people have already decided this. At a press conference and interview on Tuesday, he said of the wealthiest residents who have long left the city, they are in their Hamptons homes or Hudson Valley or Connecticut. Now, Connecticut is the big problem. If they're still in New York State, they'll still pay state taxes. If they leave the state, they ain't going to be paying state taxes, at least if they choose to permanently remain outside of the state. New York City is one of the few cities that has their own income tax. So they've already lost a lot of revenue, and it's only going to get worse. Mm-hmm. Here we can see a bunch of photos.
Well, it's going to get worse.
He says they're not coming back right now.
Also point out that, again, I think they said 1/3 of New York small businesses are going to have been lost. That's a lot of money, revenue also that's gone too. So you're losing that, plus the rich people are leaving. Again, not a fan of many rich people, but the point is, though, they pay a lot of the taxes that these young kids who are shouting, rich need to pay their fair share and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Again, what's the fair share? Because, again, the 1% pays more than 50% of the taxes. I did it in the last video. Showed you. Yeah, y'all said thing about the president, but 1 year just for that 1 year in federal he paid $33 million. I'm never gonna see 33 million dollars in my life. Never alone pay that much, but he paid that much in 1 year, and that goes to the politicians. So of course, give it to their friends and the corruption and everything else, but they don't understand that. Again, France learned that quickly with Frankie Hollande, the last president, not Macron now, because Macron he's a weirdo. Frankie Hollande wanted to tax people at 80%, and the rich people left. And when the rich people left, the people were saying, do this. They got knocked up to the higher bracket, and they was going to get taxed, and he pulled back the reins like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. Let's not do that. He had to learn literally the hard way. That was a stupid idea. That's what AOC from New York, that's why Bill de Blasio, Cuomo knows this, which is good that he knows this. And after this, Bill de Blasio said, yeah, we don't want these people. Also, there was a black mayor in Sacramento who said the same thing too. When rich people leave, he said, go, we don't want you in California. I'm like, but you need the tax revenue, you morons. What is wrong with you? You and this is what these kids don't, because they're not teaching in school that the government to do all the stuff they do, the bus, they keep stuff regulated, everything. That problem is through taxes, which they tax you. That's why you want to broaden the tax base and try to squeeze the tax base. Because when you squeeze it, people who are rich can move. Just like what it did to me when things got crazy, I moved. Now, granted, they dinged me when I moved to out to the country, the bastards. But at least I gotta deal with a second tax. At least I don't have to deal with violence and people trying to destroy my property or break in my house and none of that stuff. That's the difference compared to where I was before. Oof.
And you know what else they're thinking? If I stay there, they pay a lower income tax because they don't pay the New York City surcharge. So that would be a bad place if we had to go there. It is not unusual for Manhattan to clear out for the month of August, when temperatures between the skyscrapers soar and send many fleeing to Long Island's beaches or further afield. But this summer, with the ongoing lack of appeal in the city, the likelihood that people will come back in the fall is shrinking. Okay, so we get it, right? They're going to fire tons of people. The rich people aren't coming back. It's Cuomo's worst fear. This is from February of 2019. God forbid if the rich leave. All right. I'm going to say it. It's
They're
not
leaving.
about Cuomo. It's not. I mean, we'll talk about the people losing their jobs. That's kind of horrific, and we'll talk about the checkpoints. But this is about the far left. You see, COVID was bad enough, but you can get through it. But the riots, who would want to live in a city while mass rioting is going on? When the mayor himself says,
Exactly.
you know what? You're allowed to do this. I'll tell you, man, they say that people who are wealthier are more likely to be Republican or conservative. Probably makes sense because they see the scale, like they understand how taxes work. And they're people who have probably,
That's
if
what
you
let's
take
talk
two
about.
people and one's more about individual responsibility and they build a company, yeah, see, they're already more conservative. Or you can make the accusation that,
Oh, you could be financially conservative and socially liberal. Just to point out, just to do the difference there. You don't have to be that, because there's a lot of Hollywood types who are rich. They're not conservative. They are liberal, true and true. And there's some who are conservative, like Warren Buffett is a conservative, conservative, uh, financially, but socially liberal. But there's a lot of these guys in Hollywood because they get accountants, and that's why a lot of them get robbed. But they get accountants, and they don't understand how they themselves, these rich people in Hollywood, don't understand how taxes are used either. That's why they spout these nonsense on these videos that you always see. Point and take, Oprah. Again, don't knock her hustle. More power to you that you work from nothing that came to be to worth billions of dollars, Oprah. Shout out to you. Problem is, now the stuff that you're doing now, not a fan of it. Really not. Really not. I calls it a seed. And again, it's kind of funny. I'll say it once and say it again. It's kind of funny. Oh, you're quick to do videos on Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Russell Simmons, and all this stuff. and you talk right now. You talk about white privilege. You still your friend got convicted. Where's the where's the special on Harvey Weinstein? I'm just asking how that worked. Hope you and Gail, what's going on there when it comes to the black man? Nah, no goodness, but that's weird. I don't like that situation at all. I just calls it as I see it. But that's New York. So that's the New York side of things. So let me switch it up. And again, this is where the curse is going to happen. So I apologize again for this. Warning for anybody who don't like cursing. Just saying that. So that's New York going a downward spiral. And y'all want you want them to have the power of the whole country. Or maybe you want this people to have the other side of the country. So let's go to the other side. New York to California.
The Joe Rogan experience. When are you moving to Texas?
The end of the month.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm out of here. This place is
That's
gonna
crazy. So I
blow
was
up.
gonna
This place is gonna
Oh.
sink. Watch. As soon as I leave, boom. I just thought it's fucking. This place is crazy. The lockdown still exists, right? There's the homelessness is completely out of control. There's the overpopulation is out of control. The way they're handling this is so bad. I'm just upset with the federal government's handling of this. There's so many people that are just financially, they're so fucked right now. And I think people should be, I don't want to say people should be held accountable for it, but I think people should make decisions based on the way the place that they live is handling this really difficult problem. And the solution they've come up with in California is to jack up taxes. So the most recent solution was to jack up taxes to 54%. I'm like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. Retroactively, back to January.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a proposal. It's crazy. It's not going to fix it. They're bankrupt. This state is bankrupt because they're incompetent. They're not going to become competent if you give them more money. You know, it's just they've managed the money that they got very poorly. They already have high taxes. There's a 13.5% state income tax here in California, and the place is still fucked up. It's like this is a very telling and dangerous time in a lot of ways. It's very challenging, and it exposes a lot of things. And one of the things it exposes, I don't particularly like the way things are run here, and I don't like being in a place that has such a high population either. I think there's a real problem with living somewhere that has 20 million people plus 40 million in the whole state. It's so crazy. There's so many people here. And the only thing that was really keeping me around was the Comedy Store and my friends. And a lot of my friends are bailing. A lot. I mean, there's a
Where are they going?
all over the place. My friend Joey's moved to New Jersey. Theo Vaughn is moving. I think he's moving to Nashville. A lot of my friends are talking about Texas. People are just bailing. There's a mass exodus out of California right now.
That's crazy because I was actually planning to move to LA eventually. So now that you're going, I was going to say the next time I'm in town, I'll come say hi, but you're going to be gone.
Well, maybe I'll be here every now and then. You know, look, once things are back to normal, whatever normal is going to be, I'd be happy to come in every now and then. And we're going to keep this studio for a while. I'll come to the Comedy Store and still do shows there. I miss all my friends that work there and that perform there. So I'm sure I'll be in town at least a few times a year. But I just want to change too. You know, I think there's other places to live. I want to live in a place where it rains. You know, that's another thing. It's like, it's very unhealthy living in a place where it's always sunny. I think it gives you a really delusional perspective.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful for you because you come from Toronto. It's 55,000 degrees below zero.
Well, it's not snowing every day, counter to what people think. We do actually have summer and sunshine sometimes.
Of course you do. I love Toronto. But the thing is, like, when people come from somewhere like that and then you come to LA and it's sunny all the time, you're like, this is amazing. But after a while, it's like, it gives you a distorted view of nature. You know, and I think that's one of the reasons why people in LA are so delusional. They very rarely have to deal with actual nature. I always felt like there was something real humbling about growing up in Boston because it got so goddamn cold and it snowed so much that you just knew, like, there were certain point in times where you had to submit to nature. You had to huddle in. There's 2 feet of snow outside. You just stayed home.
I'll just leave it at that. But you heard the first part of it. They're raising taxes. Everything is wrong. It's just like I said. And again, the pollution in California is bad. It's really bad. As much as they want to do stuff like that, the cap and trade thing was a joke. if people really understand how that cap and trade thing really works, he's like, really, it's a joke. They put our money on something that did not help the environment. And again, we're not the worst polluters. America's not the worst polluter in the world. China, India is, whew, they are up there at number one. Health and Russia, because of what happened just a while ago with a nuclear thing they had, that they just released the waters up into that into the superior ocean. Yeah. So you talk about really doing some real damage. Yeah, that's why that's why I'm not I was a fan of Greta Thunberg. When again, you want to talk about America doing certain things, all right, but why don't you call out India, China, and Russia? No, okay, excuse me. It's just something that does bother me away. And you want these two states to run the country? I don't think so. I'm not down with that nonsense. It is not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. I'm not for that. So I just don't I just don't like that situation. It's not good for people. It's really not. So let's change the topic to a little. Let's keep it going. Let's get the show going. Let's change the topic a little bit. Now we're gonna talk about critical thinking, and then we're gonna finish up it again. We're gonna get to show again about we need to teach our history, learn history, and be on your own. Be your own person, really. So the history is this. Well, oh yeah, sorry, critical thinking. I got the videos. I got the videos on my docket mixed up, so I apologize for that. So the docket. Well, let's not do that. Let's go with let's say critical thinking. So I'll give an example. I can't. I couldn't find the story in time, so forgive me for that. But we have like what was I gonna say? In New York Times, they had something that they said this is critical thinking. It's where kids are not doing certain things, and you put your brains together and figure out stuff. So in New York Times, they had a part where they said, uh, "Crime is down, murders are up." As you heard, how the violence is going up and 20% and all this stuff. And of course, my brain is thinking, "Wait a minute, that sentence don't make no sense. How can crime be down and murders are up? Because if that ain't murder a crime, murder's a crime, so it should be up." That's something that phrase just like what? That don't make no sense. Let me help you out with another one. So let me see if we can bring this up on this. Bring this one up on the screen. There we go, and let's see. We could switch it to. I want that one. I want nope. That is Google. Yeah, I'll use this. This is no problem. All right. All right. So hey, it happens. Iran just sunk its own fake aircraft carrier. All right. Now, here's the thing that killed me about this. They use this, right? They use this to show. Iran showed this to show, the world that they could do damage. But this mostly was not from Iran. It's mostly from the Iranians to say that we have the power to destroy the great evil America. All right. So we created this fake ship and we destroyed it with all the missiles and show them, raining down on the fake ship. See, we destroy. Look at all the power we have that we're doing. Now I'll say this: good that you guys have the technology to do that. Right? That you have the missiles. You're showing that. Okay, sure that you can protect yourself and you try to show power. And I like this part right here when you see these boats are going around and around, and I'm like, oh, we could do this. We could do that. No, we could do that. That's cool. Uh Critical thinking time though. There's a problem with that, Iran. And anybody who and all the damn news media who use the propaganda in the ways like, oh, Iran is trying to show us that it could do this, whatever. Young people, let me help you out with this. Who don't understand that, right? Just to help you out. This is a ship that they created to mock, to fight, to say they're gonna do damage. It's tied down, it's pushed by a boat, and they launch their missiles and everything. All right. Let's start with the easy one. One, it's kind of easy to hit a sitting target. Just saying. Aircraft carrier is not gonna be a small. Aircraft carrier is not gonna be a small. It's just gonna be sitting there and getting bombarded by missiles. That's one. Two, if they have aircraft and they see enemies coming, which they'll pick up on their radars, right? Because you can see right here, it's marked. This is not what it looked like. It's a fake thing. This is not real anything. Okay, fake everything. Okay, as you can see up there. Here's the problem with that. They'll pick up your radars, and these planes that's gonna be on the ship are not gonna be on the ship staying. They will be in the air, and they will shoot your little peeny little boats down, dudes. So please, no, that's not gonna be happening here this way. Right? So you gonna these ships gonna be taken off, and they're gonna be that. And last but not least, as I'm gonna show you, uh aircraft carriers do not travel by themselves. Okay? They don't. They have frigates, they have battleships, and you're gonna have to go through them as well. Okay? Don't let the movies make you feel like it's just one aircraft carrier out by itself doing a no. It's real world. Sorry. This is the real world here, people. You have ships that's gonna do some damage. You might hurt some of these little small frigate ships and battleships, but I'm telling you right now, to get to that nuclear ship, that big nuclear ship that you want to get to, you gotta go to a couple of ships, plus airline, plus some of these ships, like some of the battleship have their cannons, of course, and then not only that, not only does they have the cannons, some of these ships have helicopters, like Apache helicopters and stuff that comes off of it, and in certain ships that have some power. Let me pause it right here and show you. Let me go back a little bit. These right here on the side, those are submarines, and they have nuclear warheads on them, and they're on the water. So, yeah, and trust me, I've looked at China's their aircraft carriers. They have two, and they don't have nowhere this situation that we have. None. As big as China has, the problem is though they don't have the true. That's why they're trying their best to take all the technology they can to build their ships. Their ships are up ships. They don't even have, and they can't even carry the payload as most of our jets and everything. It's a big advantage. The one thing China has over us is military people. They have more people, 330 million, 1.6 billion. They have more people. They have more military guys. That's correct. And they might have more military on a arm on a what do you call it, on a ground attack situation. They would have the advantage if on their home turf because there's so much people to invade them, they will be picked up because of the size and everything. So yeah, as much as you could say Iran, you're not gonna do nothing because this right here basically is gonna f you up. Just saying. Just saying. I'm just be honest with you. So it's you guys have your little little ship, your little pew 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 pew. You ain't gonna do nothing. That's critical thinking. So when I see news media making them like they're doing this just to grandstands with their people, and their people are just like I said, people are stupid, individuals are smart, and if they believe that this is how American ship is, and how they could destroy it, they must be got some Steven Spielberg's kind of special effects to make you really think that, oh man, we could destroy a ship, blah blah blah, whatever. Take the money and waste it and did that. But hey, practice is practice. Do what you gotta do. Crazy how that is. Huh. All right. So now let's go into, like I said, the history part. I want to play a clip here about, again, a lot of these young kids who are destroying this stuff. They don't know economics. They don't know how taxes work. They don't know how government work. That's what I said, we are failing them. They don't even know their history. Oh yes, that's what I forgot to talk about. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can find that. There's a school in the district, of course, in. Oh yeah, don't forget. I forgot. LA is trying. If you have more people at your house, Eric Garcetti, who's in LA, the mayor says that we're gonna turn off your water and your electricity because you can't have a gathering over at your house. No, I understand that people go crazy with it. I get that, but that's how much power the government got that they could turn. If you're paying your bills, they could still come and turn off your water, electricity. Wow. And you again, you people want these people in charge. I don't. I don't. I don't care if it's Republican. I don't give. I don't want them to have that much power. That's why I don't want to give them this much power. Okay, I don't. I don't want to give them the power because they do crazy stuff. And let me see if we can find that thing. Talking about what I was talking about the schools.
As the weather heats up, your sleep.
Let me see. Let me get. I'm trying to get the. I don't need a commercial. I want to bring the schools. Which is crazy. All right, I'm gonna put it on the screen because I want to make sure people see the craziness. Thank you. Chicago 5 and NBC. Chicago area leaders call for Illinois to abolish history classes. Oh, goody. That's exactly what we need, and I'm gonna share with doing that. What doing that is gonna what's it's been causing. It's causing the riots and craziness right now already. But that's a good job. Leader education and politics in other areas got in suburban um, Evanston Sunday to ask Illinois Senate Board of Education to change the history curriculum at schools statewide in a temporary halt to instruction until the alternatives is decided upon. At the news conference, State Rep. LaShawn K. Ford said currently history teaching leads to a racist society and overlook the contribution of women and minorities. No, it does not. No, it does not. History you learn from, wow, this is what happened. Let's not do that again. But for some reason, we're doing it again. That's why in the last video that I talked about, in part two, when I talk about 1984, that was back in 1940s. 1984 reads today. If you look at it, it reads exactly as it's today. It's like, wow. Big brother's over you. You can't do this. If you sit around one, we'll call you a racist and destroy your life and everything. You learn as again, it's funny how a lot of them destroyed it. They want to destroy all the southern the Confederate statues. Okay. You want to destroy the history. I don't have a problem with the Confederate statue because at least for me, if I have a kid, I'm like, yeah, hey, Dad, with Jackson Lee, he's a bad guy. Yeah, he was a Democrat who thought that slaves were this, and this, human property. Horrible guy. But you know what? Why the statue is here to remind us that we cannot let people like that ever get in there like that. Oh, okay, Dad, that's cool. What was it again? Oh, he was a Democrat. Oh. Yeah, I gotta watch out for those people. Good son. That's what I'm gonna be doing. But they don't want that because they want to take out the history, rewrite to be all pleasant and candy and eye drops and rainbows and everything, whatever. Okay, Don't like that. Before Sunday, Rep. Floyd office distributed a new release. Rep. Floyd told today emphasis calls to abolishment of history classes in Illinois schools, in which Floyd asked the ISB school district to immediately remove history curriculum and books that unfairly communicate history until a suitable alternative is developed. And I'll say this again, parents, if you have a kids, okay, kid didn't ask to be born. You have a child. Please be in your child's life and your school for the child. Please, to see what these schools are doing, because not again, they already done again, Common Core. They're trying to make 2 + 2 = 5. They already done, as objective as math is. They're trying to change it. That math is not objective now. Do not let that nonsense happen in your schools, because that's wrong and that's setting your child to fail. Oh, that's racist because they don't know what 2 + 2 is equals 4. So let's make it 5 so they don't be wrong. What nonsense is that? They're setting you up to be a failure. Your child to be a failure. That's why I say we fail our kids. We let these morons do this stuff. Representative instead suggested that schools devoted greater attention towards civics and ensuring students understand the democratic process. Oh yeah, okay. I have a problem with that, but the way that you teach it, maybe not. It costs us society in a long run forever. It costs us as a society in the long run forever when it do not understand our brothers and sisters that we live and work and play with. Okay, that's a non sequitur. The state representatives is sponsoring a bill towards requiring elementary schools to teach students about civil rights movement. How about we just touch the bare minimals in that one and just teach them how to read? Most of them don't even know how to read now. Read, do simple math, just that, and arithmetic, write, how to write good and stuff. I have terrible handwriting. I know that. I'm not in. I could take my time and do it nicely, but just for real, just let them be kids, okay? How about we let them be kids? Now, there's a part in here. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I just want to read a part because there's a part in here that I don't like. Oh yeah, there you go. Press. We will discuss our current history teaching and practices that that was overlooked and contributed by women, members of the Black community, Jewish and LGBT communities, and other groups. These individuals were punished and for an immediate change in history, change in the practice starting the school year. Okay, I understand you want to show why certain people want, you want to look up to President Barack Obama became the president. Good for him. Show that a guy could do certain things to become a black man became a president. We had a black president, so he's still racist. I don't get that. But anyway, I digress. Racist country. But we have a showing that, hey, this man could be a president. And you could do that. We could be a president. Anybody could be a president as long as you have the right ideas and the right attitude that the country is looking for. Right now, we ain't got that, but with what's going on with all these riots. But again, we have that. I get that. Women, you want to say, hey, this woman did something good or whatever. Okay, I get that. Whatever. I still don't, and I will not understand why I care about who having sex with who. You having sex with somebody is irrelevant to doing the job because they're not on the job. I'm not saying, hey, John, I want you. Let me see. Okay, what's the qualifications for? I want you to be a carpenter. Okay, you know your math. Oh yeah, you know math. Yeah, okay, good. You know how to measure. Oh, that's great. Are you good with tools? Awesome. All right. Who you having sex with? Oh, dude. Oh, well, show me how you having sex with a dude because he's not really having sex with a dude right there. He's having. That's irrelevant to the job. Say to if what do you care if I having sex with a woman or woman having sex with having who you having sex with is irrelevant. And I hate how that's being forced into a lot of stuff. I said it once, I say it again, and it's stupid. Why the? It's just dumb. But get it straight. You can burn American flag, which I think you should have the right to do that. First Amendment speech. You could do freedom of speech. You could do a burn American flag. But if you burn a rainbow flag, it is a hate crime? Huh? How that work? How that work? And of course, they want you to teach you and also the miseducation of our children must stop. It's urgent that we come to the end. We witness the current climate become more hostile. Miseducation, which is going on now, what y'all talking about, has fed continues and feed a systematic racism for generations. If your Black history continues to evolve and taught incorrectly, which is what you guys are doing, that book, White Fragility, is garbage. And funny enough, the lady who wrote that book says she's a racist. One, two, she's using black people to get millions. She got what? She got $4 million when she released her book, and then she charges hundreds of thousands of dollars for speaking engagements. And then when she in her book on her site, they were saying, "I took the because I feel like I was a racist or whatever. I take my money and I give it to this Native Indian. I give it to the black group." And when people started looking into those groups, she didn't give nothing. She took the money for herself. Scam artists. Scam artists. Well, people reading that book like, oh, it's the greatest. No, it's not. It's a bunch of lies. One, because I've read half of the book is garbage. Because they make it feel like black people, again, their book, they make it like, y'all, we are stupid. We are pets. We are enslaving our skin that we can't do no better than what these people deem us to do. Again, we had a black president. We have black congressmen, women, all that stuff. You can't do no better without our help. I don't like that narrative at all. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying in this thing. You don't want that. You do not want that. We've seen already how Chicago's going on right now. Great job, Chicago. Again, y'all, and news media, great job too. Remember, mass shooter. Oh wow, mass shooter. If anything more than 4 people got killed, it's mass shooting. Okay, at a funeral, 14 people got shot. Where's the news on that? Where's CNN? Where's the bigger news? Where are these bigger news? MSNBC. Where are these bigger news on that? Oh no, that's not mass shooting. That 14 people got shot at a funeral, and all black people too, by a black person. Yeah, funny how that works. So with that, that's what I want to go into this other video that I was talking about. So yeah. And again, this is why they want to take the history. And this is why I say what I said. And I'll state it again. There's nothing more hate than a Republican and a Democrat. Okay, I hate both of them as product because the Republicans are I don't have the clip no more. I have the clip, but I ain't gonna search for it. But like the clip I played is, if the black people, the Democrats want to keep in the plantation, Republicans want to steal your money and pretend that they're gonna do the good. That's the synopsis of the clip that I play. But I want again, you're gonna agree with everything that I say. I understand that, but I'm not gonna agree with what everybody else is say too. So I want to talk about where is it? So let me just let you listen to this right here, because again, they were trying to
In
teach
this
you
crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress. In the New York Tribune, in an editorial dated February the 5th, 1960, they pointed out that out of 11 million qualified Negro voters, only 2,700,000 actually take time to vote. This means that, roughly speaking, only 3 million out of the 11 million Negroes who are qualified to vote take an active part. And the remaining 8 million remain voluntarily inactive. And yet it is this small minority, the 3 million Negro voters, who help determine who will be the next president. If who will be the next president can be influenced by 3 million Negro voters, it is easy to see why the presidential candidates of both political parties put on such a false show with the Civil Rights Bill and promises of integration. They must impress the 3 million voting Negroes who are the actual integration seekers. And if so much fuss is made over these 3 million integration seekers, what would the presidential candidates have to do to appease the 8 million non-voting Negroes if they ever decided to become politically active? They hold the balance of power. Who are the 8 million non-voting Negroes? What do they want? And why don't they vote? The 3 million Negro voters are the so-called middle-class Negroes, or high-class Negroes, or uppity Negroes, who are referred to by the late Howard University sociology professor E. Franklin Frazier as the black bourgeoisie, who have been educated to think as patriotic individualists with no racial pride whatsoever, who believe in and look forward to the future integrated, intermarried society that is constantly being promised to them by the Negro politician. And therefore, this integration-minded 3 million minority remain an active part of the white-controlled political parties. But it must never be overlooked that these 3 million Negro integration seekers are only a small minority of the 11 million qualified Negro voters.
I'll leave it at that. Just give you a stance of right there. Again, to point out, do I agree with everything Malcolm X says? No. Don't agree with everything that Martin Luther King says? No. But they were truth seers as best as they can, and they pointed out some things that I wish we have learned about. For some reason we didn't. We didn't. And they just keep us in that party. Remember, one of my people, one of my favorite artists of all time, Bob Marley. Remember, free yourself from mental slavery. We have mental slavery going on right now in America. We don't have, we still have physical slavery because you have child rings and sex slaves and everything. But a lot of people are still in that minority slave of this is what it is. I've talked to a person before and I told her before this. I don't want. I am happy. I'm sorry, Republican or Democrat. I'm sorry, party people. You're not as he said bourgeoisie, which is well, funny because the Marxists uses that, but I get that, and that they use that so they could make people feel a certain way. But I'll tell you this right now: I'd rather have me the bread than the crumb. Yeah, I'm. I mean, I know you don't have to work hard for the crumbs. That's basically what welfare is, and that is literally what is systematic racism. That they tell you have a child by some man, kick the man out of the house. We'll give you money so you can live whatever life you kind of like you want to live. If you have a daughter, you're gonna repeat this process. If you have a dude, you're gonna repeat this process because he's gonna be going by by a woman who don't, because a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. This process can be sane. We went from black Americans back in 1920s and everything when it was coming up good, it was getting up good. Then came the Jim Crow laws, and knocking them back down again. We were better than white people at that time when we was doing the whole, yes, we were getting tax dogs, water, and everything. But I'm talking about as a family unit, we was together. We had Black Wall Street. We were teaching our own kids. We were doing a lot of stuff. And people and Malcolm X was saying, yeah, you don't want integration. That's a different story. That's why I don't agree with him on in that regard. But we were doing good. And then they came with Franklin D. Roosevelt, not Franklin D. Roosevelt, but Lyndon B. Johnson. He said, "Give me the Great Society," and I have these quote. I don't like to use the word, but is a quote from Lyndon B. Johnson, the president, after John F. Kennedy got shot. He took over the park. He was a racist, and Malcolm X told him that he didn't like him either. But give me the Great Society. I love how they give these nice names. It's welfare. Give me the Great Society, and now how these niggas voting Democrat for the next 200 years. It's been 60 years basically, and they've been doing a damn good job at it. The smaller amount of people, not every black person vote. I know that. That's why I say not every black person vote. But the people who do vote, 90% of the people vote for one party, and that's what they treating you bad. That's why you have Joe Biden saying if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Weird. All right. Sorry, I'll take it. Sorry, Uncle Joe, I don't have a black card. And then the last two interviews came out. He said, oh, is all black people the same? There's no diversity. I don't have nothing in common with a lot of black people in different parts of America. They don't have nothing with me. That's why I say I don't speak for the black community. The black community don't speak for me. But I love how he said that. Yeah, he quickly said that the Latinos that have diverse thinking. You got your Cubans, whatever. But the black Americans now, you guys don't have no diversity. Wow, wow. Okay, thank you, Joe. And then when I got a black guy asked him questions, he would say, "Are you on drugs? Are you on crack, man? Because you don't know." I'm like, okay. You choose like I choose. I tell you already. I don't tell people how to vote. You vote how you want to vote. People. I tell you how to. When it comes to people, you vote who you want to vote for. That's your choice. You go in and you pull a lever and you do what you gotta do. And I already showed you last time. If you go back to the last video, part 2, I showed you how that mail-in ballot, the fraud thing, is a true fraud. But people don't want to. But you gotta love how these people are like, oh, it's not a bad thing. The president's bringing it up. It's a lie. No, it's not. It is. I prove it in the last video, in part 2. Go check it out. You'll see what I see. I got not only proof, I have judges, I have commissioners, I have people who did it from different sources, from 3-4 different sources that changed that did voter fraud. Okay, so don't play that with me. And that's what I said with these people trying to get, like I said before, I said they teach you not to have your history taught to you because they don't want to tell you the true history, but they want to tell you this BS history. And now you have this you call it. Then you have this other history that they trying to let me show you what happened when you don't know your history. That's the best way to say it. Let me show you what happened when you don't know your history. The best to show so you can see it. Again, warning, cursing here because it was all tampered with energy. But here you go. Here you go right here. Let me put the camera to the right. Oh,
Why? Who paid for it? Who paid for it? Who paid for the statue? Who paid for it? Who paid for it? Who divide and conquer has to be fighting. I'm not fighting you. I'm actually here on your side. No, here's the thing. Look, here's the problem. Any voice that is dissenting.
Step out the way.
Any voice that's going to object to, brother, any voice that see what I'm saying? Brother, in your hand. You see, a lot of people are out here talking about tearing something down that they don't even know the history of. If you're going to protest protest turning it back the way it was facing, which was the Capitol. That's the way that statue was facing. Y'all don't even know the history of this statue, but you want to tear it down.
No, they don't.
Because you are offended. I'm talking. Listen.
Oh, force it.
Let me say one other thing. To all of the people that live in the community, babe, I work for myself. Don't nobody pay me to nothing. I do this for myself.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
That's so upset. Give him the freedom. Why didn't you clean this statue up? Why haven't you cleaned up around it, community? You so upset and you want to tear it down, but you won't even clean up around it. Okay? It don't matter.
Question. Yes, sir. What is your message to Black Lives Matter protesters who are demanding to tear this down, and they are basically, in a way...
I say the Black Lives Matter people are full of shit. And the reason I say they're full of shit is because their money ain't saying Black Lives Matter. You coming out here, you want to tear down statues, but how much of this Black history of D.C. do you really know? If Black Lives really matter. You know, how much of this history have you tried to learn about Washington, D.C.? Because we got Black history that's dying on the vine, sir, right here in Washington, D.C. So if Black lives...
Amen, brother.
What does your money say?
Do you think that it's true that most of these... What would you say, sir, is just your overall goal today for the reason that you came out here today? Just your overall goal. What's the message you want to send?
It is to bring some historical context to this conversation. I understand that from reading your current history that there are some who want to bring down some monuments, and I certainly understand that. The Confederate monuments. When I gave a speech in 1865 in Maryland, I said to them then, now that the monster of slavery is dead, let the shadow and the substance go down together and let them sleep forever in a common grave. That's what I said to them. And so if these monuments are still standing, then we have not put away those ideas. Now, we should not, to use a phrase that you all might use, we should not throw out the baby with the bathwater. This is a monument that we built. Thank you, ma'am. Peculiar glass here. So we should certainly be having a conversation. That's why this monument was erected, to be a place where we could have conversations and ensure that we understand the history and appreciate our history, and at the same time make sure that we're moving on to the future and the promise of the forefathers. And we're invested in the Constitution. Many of you, I don't know, how many of you feel like you have divested yourselves of the Constitution?
I'll say this to that video. You see that young girl just cursing, and I like what the black man said. I like how he shut her down. Who paid for the statue? Because she don't. I know history. No, you don't. There, you do not know the history. You did not know that Frederick Douglass and a slave was a slave and a slave paid for that statue. Why? Because Abraham Lincoln was the one who freed his slave with the Emancipation Proclamation. And of course, it was ratified basically on September 22nd. So I'm waiting to see. I want to see if y'all made a big noise about Juneteenth. Let me see y'all talk about that with September 22nd or December 6th. One of those. And that's when the ratification happened. But I digress in that regard. But argue with the man. I like when he shut up down and he's like, "Who paid you?" No, I work for myself. Right on, brother, who works hard for that. I like that. That's how you shut them down, because they don't know the history. And this is why I say we fail them. You arguing that crazy in front of a man about stuff you do not know. And the statue was not statue is not racist. It was elected by the slave, by the guy, because they're showing that he was President Lincoln was saying, "Now you're free." And it's not that he's not a slave kneeling to Lincoln. No, it was a slave saying, "Now I'm free." He's raising up to be a free man. That's what the statue's about. But they don't know about that because they don't know the history. And that's why I say you don't want them. They're not teaching the history in schools. They're doing a disservice to these people. They're doing a bad disservice to these people, and these kids are losing out on this. It's very sad. Not good at all. But that's how that works, though. Now, last but not least, I want to finish off with this. I want to finish off with one more thing. And it's kind of funny, but not. But again, they pretend, I told you, they make it that they pretend that you black folks are not crazy, or that you are not smart or intelligent or you're stupid. I don't like that. I do not like that. Every race on this planet has stupid people. Every race on this planet has smart people. Okay, yeah, I met dumb Japanese and dumb Asians. They're not all mathematicians and wizards now. There's some dumb ones, and I've met them. I'm like, what the hell? What? So I've met them. Okay, and so don't let that figure. I've met some dumb Indians too, because as I always say, evil comes in all shapes, color, size, race, gender, sexuality, creed. It makes no difference. So does stupidity, and so does smartness comes in that. You have to be that individual to be different. Don't let this make the judgment. That's one thing about Martin Luther King. Like I said, Martin Luther King, I do respect. Judge me in the color of my judge me on my content, not on my skin. If you want to judge me on skin, then me you don't have to talk. Cool. I'd rather know that I don't have to talk to you. You don't talk to me. We separate. But I don't want you to pretend like most liberals, like Mark Alex just said, to pretend to be your best friend and then stab you in the back. I don't want that. I do not want that. Stay away from me. If you, those are the people. The ones who sneak behind, the ones who stab you in the back easiest. So no. But I want to play this news for you because it's, oh boy, is it a piece of garbage? The answer is yes, it is a piece of garbage. Okay, why is it still? It's a piece of garbage, but again, this is how they make you guys to be now. The Great White Outdoors, and shout outs to my cousin Shell, to my people I grew up with, from Shy to Reginald, to all those guys on Facebook who, if they get to watch this ever, whatever, and a lot of people from Nevis that I grew up from, cause we did this, but again, it's nonsense. But I'll play for you. Bring down the volume a little
America's
bit.
national parks and public lands have long been places of refuge in times of turmoil. But new government data first shared with ABC News shows people of color are less likely to take advantage of the great outdoors. Our Devin Dwyer takes a look at why that is and why it's so important for our collective health and the future of the parks themselves.
Question. People of color, there are less of them. That's why. Proportionally, it's not going to be a lot more than that. Again, critical thinking. They're less, so they're not going to be the dominant. So why is that a problem? But I digress. And again, people choose to do what they want to do. America.
The sweeping vistas stir the
ABC.
soul. Wildlife and waterfalls awaken a sense of wonder. The American wilderness, a playground for old and for young, and overwhelmingly white.
True.
When you look around, you don't.
What? You just did a nice thing and overly white. Yeah, and what?
See people that you identify with.
Why do I care who I identify with a color? If they like the nature, just like me, I don't care what color they are.
You
I like it too.
Feel welcome. You feel
I've never gone to a
out of
park and
place.
not
You
feel welcome.
literally like you are an outsider.
How? Do they come to you and say, "Hey, Native American, get away. Hey, black man." And if that happens, that's bad people because I can't. I'm not concerned over. I'm not one of those people who's like, "Well, that don't ever happen." It could have happened. I don't know. I've never seen it though.
Tarek is founder of Brown People Camping. When she was 8 years old, her family moved from India to Minnesota, where she fell in love with the outdoors.
And that's a good
20
thing,
years later,
sweetheart.
she's still astonished not to see more people like her.
Maybe because they're busy doing stuff. They didn't get the same love for the outdoors like you did. They gotta work. They gotta feed their kids. They got their kids are doctors and stuff like that. Since you talk about Indians, that could be the thing, you know.
Some people might say, isn't this just that people of color don't like to camp?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that per se, but again, we have the joke in the black Americans be like, yeah, I'm not going out there with lions, tigers, snakes, bears. Nah, I don't want to go out there like that. That's why you white people always get killed. Those are the jokes. We've heard it from Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and everybody knows those jokes. But yes, and I do agree on some of that
And to
too.
that, I would say no, right? That's a generalization.
Yes, that's why it's a. Oh my God, and you are Indian. You're supposed to be smart, sweetheart. Like I said, it is a generalization. That's true.
And just because something isn't happening or the presence of someone is missing does not mean they don't want to be there.
And just because they don't want to go doesn't mean that they have to be there either.
To many Americans of color, parks, campgrounds, and forest land are stubborn bastions of self-segregation.
Stubborn bastards. These look like Hispanic women to me, and they're out there enjoying themselves. Why's the
After 12,500 miles, 15 national parks, and untold state parks, I saw two black people. She said she saw four.
I saw four.
That was 1995 when Frank and Audrey Peterman took their first road trip to explore the nation's natural wonders. The history of America's wilderness loomed large.
Historically, in the South in particular, many atrocious things that happened to black people in the woods.
Racism was a factor at the founding of America's national parks, created in part to be an escape for white urban elites.
That really was not how the history was. It was not so that the guy just didn't want a lot of corporate. Basically, the guy who did a national park thing was racist. Yes, not denying that, but he did not do it because of that. He did it because he didn't want to see the corporations and everything destroy trees and everything. He was an environmentalist, but.
Several were racially segregated into the 1950s, many considered uninviting to people of color into the 1990s.
Yes, and
we have an inherent fear. We do because of our history.
Really? You're ever afraid to go to the national parks now because of our history?
About going into these remote, rural places where we're not sure that we'll be accepted.
Lauren
Accepted for
Gay,
what?
the self-described outdoorsy diva, blogs about her experiences as a woman of color in the wilderness.
So when you don't see it in marketing and advertising, for one, in the psyche, you don't necessarily think this is something that's for me.
We have to be responsive to those needs.
The National Park Service says the persistent whiteness of its 419 parks is an existential crisis. David Vela is the first Latino to lead the agency.
Do you think the parks are affected by systemic racism?
I think
no, because anybody could go to the parks. If you're black or whatever, you don't choose. There's right now at this point, well, it's been for years. There's no park that I've seen that says that. And again, you have a Latino guy who's the head of the church. I've been to parks. That's why I was trying to get a video and show it, but I couldn't show it. I've been to parks. Hell, when I went to 2017, when I went to France, I went to a national park in France up in the mountains. And I was surrounded by French and some Americans and some black people as well. And I had a ball. I didn't care about the color. I care about these people enjoying this nice place that we was, and the waterfall was nice. And again, we do it back home in Nevis, where we go to Mount Nevis Peak, and black people going up there and white people going up there, going to Nevis Peak to just go through the clouds and see the rainforest and everything.
That,
Same thing in Puerto Rico. So what the
as
heck?
a person of color, I think
Really? I hate. I'm going.
that our national parks and what I've found, there are places where we can learn more about what happened in the past, because that reflects our thinking today.
Okay.
In a report first shared with ABC News, the Park Service finds 77% of its visitors are white. Just 23% are people of color. Minorities make up 42% of the U.S. population.
Yeah, if you combine Hispanic, Asian, Black, Indian, all the other things like that. So what? That's not a full representative still.
What's the biggest factor behind the disparity?
I think it's going to vary among communities of color. The lack of transportation opportunities is.
That is not I can tell you right now, that's not what it is, really.
But what a lot of folks don't understand is that we're closer than what you think, especially in the urban areas.
It's funny that you're showing a lot of black people and you're showing black people and stuff walking to the national park.
The national parks have tried marketing to minority communities with ads like these, training staff on.
Wait, hold up. Didn't that the lady just said a while ago that they don't advertise to people? ABC, really? The lady just said they don't advertise to people of color that they could do this. But now you're showing me ads
sensitivity
for
and
this.
hiring more rangers from diverse backgrounds. Less than 20% of the 20,000 Park Service employees are non-white.
You need to have that cultural diversity reflected on both sides.
Stop that. I hate that nonsense. Culture diversity. That's stupid. It's a park. Let's keep politics out of this. That's why I'm doing. Let's just enjoy the trees, the birds, the alligator. I'm gonna tell you right now, if a black bear comes out, he don't care if you're black, white, or whatever. If he wants to attack you, he'll attack you. Or the snake, or whatever animals that's bad in that regard. Okay? It's just crazy. And again, the national parks are parks for Americans. So if you're Americans, it's one culture. It's not a diverse culture. Multiculturalism has never worked on this planet. Again, going back to your history, it's never worked. Multi-ethnicity, yes. Multiculturalism,
of the visitor center desk, at the entrance station, at the campgrounds.
Ranger Shelton Johnson has pushed diversity in the parks for 20 years, teaching countless visitors to Yosemite in California about the Buffalo Soldiers, the African Americans who helped protect park land a century ago.
And that's a good thing. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. So
that has a profound impact because they're not expecting that story at all.
Because we don't teach them in school. Again,
Black people in Yosemite.
Okay.
Black people in Yosemite.
Really?
We have arrived. I think that's just wonderful.
In 2010, his outreach got a boost when Oprah Winfrey wanted to go camping.
I just said to myself, you know what? That would be powerful if the world's biggest celebrity, who is African American, issued the invitation to the African American community that I always dreamed of when I was a kid.
Do you think it had an impact?
It was Oprah. Next question. Of course.
Well, if he had an impact, then why are we doing this story July 1st, 2020, then ABC? And sir, again, and that was back in 2010. Critical thinking is dead in this country. Of course it had an impact.
But many say progress is still not happening quickly enough.
If we don't address this,
Thank you.
And we don't see how all these things are interrelated, then we're going to risk losing everything. We're not going to have public lands to enjoy.
Risk losing what?
Groups like the Sierra Club have begun education campaigns within.
What are you losing? It's a national park. Unless a building comes and destroy it or fire, God forbid, nothing. What are you losing? It's a park. It's trees. It's whatever. It's open space. It's protected really. So how are you going to lose it? Unless it's natural disaster, you ain't losing nothing. It's protected.
Minority communities to promote access to nature and its physical and mental health benefits.
If we look at it from
And that part of that, I have no problem that you do that. Do that, because that's what I when I went. Hell, I used to go to a park every Sunday with a person that ain't worked out. But anyway, and walked around with white people or black people. It was again more white people. I'm not gonna deny it, but there were black people there. There was Indian people. There were Hispanic people walking around, enjoying the park
from
just
a
like we were.
humanitarian perspective, these are matters of life and death for some people. We need to have a conversation about how are people getting outdoors and connecting with nature where they live, in their neighborhoods. What all the recent events with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, the Central Park incident are shining a light on black people in particular, but other people of color don't have that freedom to have that experience.
What? They don't have.
You're worried about somebody calling the police on you. You're worried about just having a negative interaction based solely on the color of your skin.
Danielle Williams, a fourth-generation U.S. Army veteran and outdoor advocate, says racial profiling and stereotyping remain major concerns.
And it would always be, sad as it is, it's going to always be, as I said, this situation that happened right now that the camera come out about
A
Joe,
lot
that's
of
not
us,
going to
we've
help
been
nothing.
saying the same message over and over for years, and for some people longer, but people haven't necessarily been listening.
Protests for racial equality after the death of George Floyd last month give Williams hope that attitudes can change.
Let's be honest.
She says in the outdoors, it means openness to camping options beyond backpacks and tents.
It always there. Nobody's stopping black people from doing this, or Hispanic, or Indians, whatever. We short an Indian person do it. I've seen it out there. Nobody's stopping them. They just don't want to do it. As my friend Johnny P would say, was a French guy. He's like, I don't like camping because there's bugs and stuff and everything outside. That's why I built the house, to stay inside, away from the bugs. Rest in peace,
We have
Johnny.
to kind of tone down the elitism and just think about
What elitism to go to the camp? I've never seen this. Again, I'm not saying that people ain't snooty at the places. I'm not saying that, but to stop a person, I've been there. Hell, maybe this. You know what? I don't know. It's just weird. Even right now, I'm thinking next month I was before this, seeing this video, seeing this, maybe seeing news thing. I was thinking I'm gonna head up to the mountains myself just to get away with other black people.
our
God
language when we
forbid.
talk about the outdoors, because car camping, that's great, right? Camping in your backyard, if you live in a single family home, that's also wonderful.
The survival of our national parks may depend on those families and their interest in spending time there. The census projects people of color will be a majority in America by 2044, a demographic shift that will impact park attendance and finances.
If we don't make
I should run a
ourselves
bit now.
relevant to current and future generations, who is going to be the advocates for the protection and preservation of our nation's public lands?
The same people who are doing it right now, sir.
And who's going to wear these uniforms?
The same people who want to wear the uniform.
Our
It's a
values aren't going to
choice.
change, but how we do business has to.
Advocates say allies of people of color have a big part to play.
What can I do as a white person to be more welcoming to somebody of color?
There are the most basic things you can do. One of the things I always talk about is when you see someone, smile and say hi.
I say it again. Simple stuff. Smile and say hi. We should not teach that just to be in the park. We should teach. You should know that from since you were little kids. This is why I said what I said. We feel like kids manners.
As you would any other person that you see.
They do that for me, sweetheart.
Try really hard to swallow that question of, oh, well, what brings you here? Well, the same thing that brings you here.
Maybe they were starting us. Maybe they wanted to have a small conversation with you, so they could say, hey, "What brings you here? Oh, I'm a bird watcher. Oh, yeah, they got great birds. What brings you here? Oh, I just need to get out mentally." It could be simple as that. Why are you making it Why are you overthinking
the
it?
Petermans say progress is possible.
There's been a tremendous improvement, and it's largely coming from inside our communities.
After visits to 185 parks in 47 states, they're optimistic more families of color will be joining them in the outdoors.
They tell the story of the evolution of America.
Funny enough, these people don't sound like Americans. They're Americans by proxy, but I'm talking, they sound like they come from another country to do the exact same
If
thing.
you want to know that story, and now there's so much confusion about the real American story, you will find them in the national parks.
Confusion.
For ABC News Live, I'm Devin Dwyer.
This is crazy. Look, if you want to go to the park, go to the park. People decide not to go to the park. Like I just stated right there. I have white friends who I know who don't go to the park because, again, they don't want to go out there and stuff. It's a choice. When we went to France, like I said, that all of my band music people, when we went to do the shows and stuff, went to the mountains with us. Some stayed at the hotel. Some was black, some was black, some was white. They stayed at the hotel, but some of the blacks went with me. It's irrelevant. It's the person's choice to do what they want to do. Okay? This is crazy. This is cool. Y'all just killing me with this nonsense. You gotta make things racial for some weird reason. Everything is becoming political now. It's annoying. I'm going to the Mavavo there. Scorpions, skunks, raccoons, and some peace of mind. There you go. There's a Hispanic saying he's gonna go to one of the parks. Jeez, it makes no sense. Y'all making it too much. That's the problem we have right now. We injecting with sports and everything because we saw that sports went up when it first came. Everyone was like, yeah. And then when they started to see all the nonsense, they rocket down to drop. Look, let sports be sports. Let kids be kids. Let's just take the politics out of things. Again, this is my radio show. I'm talking about that, but for general terms, let's just do that. Let's not make everything black or white. A lot of stuff is gray. One of the things I preach is balance. We need a balance of stuff. Man, the world is whoo. Let's not put politics in everything, people. Let's just have a nice night and a nice day. Enjoy. Go to the park. Enjoy the park. Go to the beach. Enjoy the beach. Why we gotta make it a racist thing? I don't get that. It's so crazy. You. Shout outs to Don AA. When you run out of actual problems, you make them out of non-issues, which is true. And also on that video, let me see here. Give me a second. I want to show you too because people thought it was nonsense. Let me see here. On that video, I could take, which is the truth. It's ratioed. There's more people who dislike this than like this because they know it was stupid. It's stupid. ABC promoting a thing. National Park Service presenting witness of parks for white. Like, you go to the comment section, and most people saying, "What the hell is this?" I'm lost for word. I just it's a crazy thing. Why are we making this a racist thing? Why? It makes no sense. Great American white outdoors. Oh, shut up with that nonsense. Lack of diversity. And again, they contradict themselves in the video. They don't advertise. Then you show advertisement. Oprah, it's Oprah. Did things change? Well, if things change, you wouldn't be talking about it now. Oh man, I tell you. Critical thinking, man, we need it. We really need it. That's why I can't say common sense no more, because it's not common. I say simple sense because we're not common no more. My goodness. This is ridiculous. What the heck is going on with the world today? That is super asinine. But just want to talk about that again. Look, don't do that, people. Don't. All right. If you want to go to some place, nobody should, and anybody physically stop you. There are laws to stop that person from doing that. One, but two, if you want to go and enjoy the outdoors, and I agree with it. Walking outside, checking out the birds, having the fun, doing the stuff is a great thing to do to get your mind away from things. That's why I do music. That's why I do video games. That's why I go walking out in the outdoors to parks, just to have a mental break from all the craziness. sometimes this does look. I look at all the nonsense that's happening with politics and news and everything. It's crazy. I get it, but I'm doing my part of the show. Not saying that, but you do need a break. Find a hobby, do something cool, enjoy your life. That's what it is. It's not as bad. In most cases, it's not as bad as a lot of people think it is. It is right now. We're in a particular situation in 2020. I am not denying that. And for those who lost their jobs and stuff, is messed up. And then the government stopping you from operating your jobs is even way messed up. Like I said, if you're in LA and you have people coming to your house, like you brought family, and you have stuff, they see multiple cars outside, the government is gonna, even though your bills are up to date, they're gonna turn off your water and your electricity. How messed up is that? Right now, that's why I have a solar panel on my brand new house. I have solar panel. In 5 years, God bless me, I would have a backup battery. Once I get that backup battery, oh, I'm off the grid. I am off the grid. Y'all can do whatever you want. I'm off the grid. I'm generating my own power. That's what I'm gonna do. That is crazy. Out of this world nonsense. But hey, just breaking it down for you guys right there. So as usual, it's game over time. I want to thank. So we're gonna try something different again next week. But this is the part 3. Again, there's be more of this, but I'm gonna change it up a little bit about the kids program to a degree. So, but with that, I want to thank everybody else who joined in again. Tempo FM, Facebook, YouTube. I want to thank you guys for joining me. For another part of Project Open Mic. Again, if you want to check us out, you want to link us up and have anything you want to do, of course, go to Project Open Mic on YouTube. Subscribe, please. Help us out so we can get to a. That's all I'm asking to do. Just subscribe, share this video with your friends, and get the subscribership up so we can do podcasts on on iTunes and Pandora and everything else. So help, again, if you think what I'm talking about is important and good, again, I've said before, you're not going to agree with me 100%, and that's a good thing. I'd rather you seek out the knowledge for yourself. What I'm bringing up, these are basically all conversation starters, but I'm doing a point to show you what's really happening around the world. So again, if you have a Twitter, you go Twitter as a Project Open Mic on Twitter. Same thing on Instagram. Same thing again. If you want to directly contact us, Project Open Mic T3@gmail.com. Again, we're gonna have something called T3 Live that I'll be setting up where you can get reviews and also tech demos and everything, because I want to show you what I've done to this house. And I had people come to record music with me, and I show them what I've done, and they're like, "Wow, this is crazy how you've done so much stuff with this house that is automated in a way." So I want to thank you guys once again for joining me tonight, and of course, again, subscribe, share, help us out when we need the help, guys. Tell your friends about Project Open Mic, and again, hopefully we should ever have a side chat tomorrow or Saturday. Keep an eye out for that, where we could bring up this conversation. If you want to join in, just let us know again at those places I talked about. So again, thank you all for joining in Project Open Mic. This is your boy, Tig, bringing up another. Oh yeah, forgot. I'm also gonna add a new show called Straight with No Chases, where it's gonna be a video segment. Hopefully, I get other people to join in to talk about certain things as well. So with that stated, I want to thank you guys again. It's Friday. I hope you guys have a good night. Be safe. Have a safe weekend. And enjoy the rest of your weekend peacefully, quietly. And remember, there's people's always stupid, individuals smart. Be that smart individual, all right? God bless. Have a good night.